Happy Sunday morning, everybody. Sunday morning. Oh, what a big surprise. Not so much a big surprise, but where have I been? Where have I been? Well, to tell you the truth, before I get on to that, we need to talk about what happened with NASCAR. NASCAR is going through a bad time because one of my favorite legendary drivers, Kyle Busch, passed away, and um, yeah, and it was very sad because he had like a natural disease, natural what do you call it? Illness, something, yeah, illness, severe illness, and he had like pneumonia, something like that. Died at the age of 41 because that guy is like how because I was born in '08, just to let you know, 2008, and he was born in 85, 85, 85. So that means he was uh that's right, he was 23. So me and him were 23 years older. And his son Brexton Bush was born in 2015. Me, I was 7 years old. 6 going on 7 years old the first time I was a big fan of him in his M&M's car. And he's married to a nice, beautiful wife. Her name is Samantha Bush, and he's got another child. Her name is Lennox. She was like born in 2024. Yeah, that's Braxton Bush's younger sister. So yeah, just thoughts and mighty prayers of God that for the Bush family. Yeah, everybody's been sad. I've been sad too, because I grew up watching him race, and I always love the way he races, the skills that he does. Like, even though he's from Las Vegas, but he races like a bootlegger on the track. Not so much a bootlegger, because it's kind of a different kind of a story of that. But he reminds me of sorry, I'm just like that. I'm just like how Dave Marcus is. He's like I'm trying to think of a one old. Yeah, he's like uh yeah, I mean I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. He's like how Cale Yarbrough, for example, is. Yeah, how Cale Yarbrough, David Pearson is. Excuse me. So yeah, and I know also another driver had passed away. He was a broadcaster, and he was an early NASCAR driver. His name was Ned Jarrett. So let me tell you something. I love watching Ned Jarrett, his broadcast videos from the past, because let me tell you something. I wasn't even born yet when he was racing in the 50s and the 60s, and when he became a broadcaster in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, until he stepped away in the 2000s. But my dad, he told me lots of good stories about him. Back when he was a little kid, back when he was a little kid, he when NASCAR was regional at the time, he kindly remembered that Ned Jarrett used to race, you know, back in the 60s, like in 1961 and 1965, and then he had a son named Dale Jarrett. And Dale Jarrett, when you ask Dale Jarrett those stories about his father used to race, he'll remember everything, because Dale grew up in the garage, watching his dad race. And then later on, when Ned Jarrett retired, because there was a story about in 1964 in Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina, he got into an accident with Junior Johnson and Fireball Roberts, and he saved Fireball Roberts' life, and then The next thing you know, in 1966, at the age of 34, he retired because he had like injury issues and he wanted to move on. He wanted to move on. He wanted to move on. So that's why broadcasting is really good for him. And that's how he got started in CBS and ESPN and MRN, and he's friends with Ken Squire and Barney Hall and Mike Joy and David Hobbs, and he and Bob Jenkins too, and he was friends with those guys, and they all of them had a really really good broadcasting team, because Ned is really perfect. He's a good example when it comes to broadcasting as well too, because he explains parts of the cars. He does like a semi kind of commentary, with Kent Squire, to give it a try. Even though he was good on the racetrack, even though he was a two-time champion in 1961 and 1965, but when it comes to broadcasting for a lead by example, he was one of the first ones, besides Ken Squire and Mike Joy and all of that. Same with Benny Parsons as well, too. So, yeah. I know David Hobbs is still living. He's still living to this day. Yeah, he's like 86. He's like a British, F1 driver, but he loves NASCAR racing. He really does. So, about that, here's a new update for the 1959 NASCAR season. And let me tell you something. I know I might have to make having a drink with Richie in the videos in here, because my sister moved back in because she had like an issue with the apartment. The apartment wasn't too lenient and everything. So, but she might move out to a new place, maybe at a new house, maybe next year, but I don't know for sure yet. But let me tell you something. That's the whole reason why I haven't been making any videos in quite a while, because I was busy with school, and busy with moving in and all of that, and the diecast cars, the 2002 NASCAR 124 diecast cars, those guys are in the storage. But the ones over there, the 1950s, the late 1950s NASCAR diecast cars, guess what? They're over there because I'd rather keep them. Same with my 1976 truck. I got a tennis on. Right over there in that shelf next to my microphone. That's those are my 1950s mostly, late 1950s NASCAR diecast cars, what I'm going to be using next year for the 1959 season. So about that, we're going to talk about that. And then after that, so before I get on to the 1959 season, here's what's going to be happening after the 1959 season. We're going to be going into the 1979 season because I really, really want to jump into the 80s, and that's where more of the excitement is in the 80s. I know what I said, I know you heard me say 1976, 77, 70. Yes. But I ain't going to be doing no full championship season, because every time I look up their videos, it doesn't give me the full, information. Because it was all radio back then. So I might as well stick with the 1979 season, because that's when first flag to flag coverage broadcast had got started, and might as well go there, And then, after the 1979 season, we'll go into 1980, 1981, 1982, and 83, 84, 85, 86, and then the late 80s, and then the 90s, and the 2000s, and then later on in the future, we'll pick up where we left off and everything. I'll pick up where I left off with the modern day NASCAR. And I'll try to do the same thing with IndyCar, but might as well stick with NASCAR because, that's more easier, because you guys like to see the 124 diecast skills on the treadmill more, because that brings more excitement, and I want to do that as well, too, because that was my decision and my choice. To do. And IndyCar I'll do maybe we'll see for the Indianapolis 500. I don't know about the full championship season for that because I might have to look for another roommate or another friend in college to do that. Whoever likes IndyCar, and and if they agree to do it, then that's good. That's good. So the thing is that we'll talk more about that on Tuesday. We'll talk more about that on Tuesday. This upcoming Tuesday, we'll talk more about it because I'm going to be home all day, and I won't have anything else. I won't have anything, you know, to do and all that. I will, but nothing, big and nothing particular. The only particular thing I'll be doing is working out and stuff like that. So yeah, so let's get on with the 1959 NASCAR season. So I made an official schedule. We're not just doing the Daytona 500. We're going to be doing like 4 races, and then we'll just end it with a championship. So the drivers that I'm going to be adding on is... So let me give you the heads up for the drivers so far. So right now, I'm going to put Lee Petty, Buck Baker, Tim Flock, Fireball Roberts, and Richard Petty. So I'm going to put 10 cars. The maximum will be 10 cars. So I have to buy them, and then I'll tell you the manufacturers on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, who are they going to be driving of. So that way you guys can know early. That way I can give you guys a heads up early. So the other drivers I need to get is Curtis Turner and Joe Weatherly and Marvin Panch and Rex White, and then Junior Johnson and Ned Jarrett and Glenn Wood and Johnny Beauchamp and Paul Goldsmith, and then maybe Red Vine. And I will make the list tonight, and then on Tuesday we'll go over it, because I can't do it tomorrow because, I have to go to the school, just to correct something quickly, and, I have a parent-teacher conference and stuff like that, and I'm going to be a little bit, taking it easy tomorrow, and I have to work out and then, go for a walk and everything. So I'm going to be a little bit busy, catchy and busy tomorrow. So catchy and a little busy tomorrow, but on Tuesday I'll be available and stuff like that. So I will make the list for that, but those are the drivers I'm going to be anticipating. I'm going to repeat this again. The drivers who are going to be racing in the 59 season will be Lee Petty, Buck Baker, Tim Flock, and Fireball Roberts, Richard Petty, and Curtis Turner, Joe Weatherly, Marvin Panch, Paul Goldsmith, and I just had it in my head, Junior Johnson, Ned Jarrett, and Johnny Beauchamp, Glenn Wood, and Red Byron, possibly. So those are the drivers. Those are the grid of the drivers who are going to be racing in the season, the mini 1959 season for next year, in 2027. For the full championship race schedule will be the Daytona 500, and I will give you the months on Tuesday. But let me name the tracks where they can be racing at. The Daytona 500 they'll be racing at, and then Darlington, and then Richmond, and then Nashville, and then Greenville, and then Hickory Speedway, and then the Firecracker 250, and then back to Darlington, and then back to Nashville, and then Detroit, and then Concord Speedway for the championship. So more information will be provided for that on Tuesday. So, and I'll try to make another video maybe on Friday or maybe on Thursday, something like that, at my grandma's house. So, all right, guys. So I hope you guys and also one more thing, I want you guys to give thoughts and prayers to Ned Jarrett. And I know NASCAR will be talking about it today, and I just want to let you know NASCAR will be on today. on Prime at 2:30 or 3, and I'm gonna be tuning in on that, and I hope you guys tune in on that, because guess who's gonna be there? Taylor Kitchen. I know she's a big fan of NASCAR. I know she loves the what's that song? Come out down the no, that's Leonard Skinner. That's Leonard Skinner. Um, Come on, ride and win. Like once you see her, she's gonna be she won't be playing it, but once you see her, she'll be in that kind of vibe. I forgot the band's name. I don't know who they are, but they sound kind of a little similar to Leonard Skinner. But that's their theme song for NASCAR Prime. But Taylor Kitchen will be there. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Taylor Kitchen. She does diecast racing, toy reviews like that, but she doesn't do yeah, she doesn't do actual competition treadmill racing like what I do and what Ghost Jerker does, or what Paul Jones does, or all the other or what all the other YouTube creators and other guys do. So yeah, but anyways, hope you guys enjoy the NASCAR race at Michigan International Speedway and on Prime, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday and Thursday. Have a great rest of your Sunday morning, everybody. See you then.